Hi, Gideon.
Hi, Fortune.
How you doing?
I'm doing alright. You look amazing.
Thank
Wow,
you.
complimenting with the green without
Naija now,
planning.
the green. It was always idea, Sha. Well, this is
Nobody
our
told
first
me.
episode of Naija Let's Talk, and you know what we're doing here already. We're having very impactful conversations, Gideon and I.
Yep.
Electricity supply across Nigeria.
Gunmen ambush
The spokesperson for the security squad.
The federal government has just 5% excise.
Naija, let's talk.
Yes, so today we're talking about something really important. You know, when we're scouting for topics, you can remember how we're going back and forward. We're like, no, we need something that would touch everybody, that everyone can relate to. And we came up with talking about the family. You know, that's the smallest unit in the society, and that's also where who we are is bettered from, you know? Yeah, so that is what we're talking about.
Alright. Generally, today's episode, our first episode, pilot episode, it was very important that we spoke about something that cuts across all generations, and that was
Yeah.
why we decided to talk about family,
Yeah.
more specifically intergenerational trauma.
Yeah.
That is coming from the fact that when I started doing some background study, I kind of found out that, and even before now, a whole lot of parents in Africa, more especially in Nigeria, didn't have any form of education, no training. You know how you have to go and get a degree for something. So some people were never ready to be parents. And even the ones that married and wanted to be parents didn't have, any proper idea of what parenting was all about.
Proper idea.
Yeah.
Yes, that's where I'm going to hold you. I feel like they had an idea of what parenting is about, but they did not have a proper idea of what it was all about because they saw how their parents parent them. So that was what they used on us.
Yeah, to be fair, but I guess that's why intergenerational trauma is now a thing. Like, there's so much dysfunction that, and to be fair, it's not even a pointing or laying blame kind of situation, because like a whole lot of people just didn't know what they were doing. You can imagine giving birth to a child, having to understand like, the different faces, uniqueness, even when it comes to career paths. Like a whole lot of people in that generation, this was probably maybe 10 to 15 years ago, everybody wanted their children to be doctors, lawyers. And once you don't agree, you are just a rebel straight up.
And you think they did not know what they were doing?
So this is where I disagree. I feel like every aspect of life, and to be fair, it's not even feeling, it's what it is. Every aspect of life has a set of rules to produce a specific set of results or outcome.
Okay.
I always talk about how you are too young to create your own formula for life.
Okay.
Do you understand? You are not up to, even if you are 100 years old, I mean, civilizations have existed, things have evolved. Because talking about the whole doctor, lawyer thing, to be fair, they thought they were right because at that time
that
it was professional.
Yes, true.
Yeah, you needed to have a profession so that you could stand on your own.
Yes, and that was what was in vogue as well.
Yeah, but already at that time, it has started shifting to skill and entrepreneurship. So by the time you went to school and you came out now, it's a totally different thing.
Yes, it was already shifting, but if you check it out, people in the civil service, they are parents. I don't think you're going to find any very young person working there. Check out all these ministries and the rest of them.
Young people working in ministries.
The people that are there, they are parents. Check it out, even in politics. Our parents.
But if we are talking about the ecosystem and financial structure of Nigeria now, in terms of living, how people live, socio-economical stratification and all of that, the civil servants have it the worst.
Sorry?
Civil servants have it the worst.
Yes. Like what you said about things were changing that time. They were just focused on the professional courses in school, you know, being a lawyer, being a doctor, stuff like that. You said things were changing, tilting towards entrepreneurship, learning a skill, and the rest of them. What I'm trying to say is, at that time, these things were still in vogue. The whole professional courses and so corporates 9 to 5, they were still in vogue. So I think they did not really evolve when things, when we were evolving or when the world was evolving, you know. So that is why they are still there.
Okay, so this takes me back to what we're trying to talk about earlier when I said, like, there are already defined set of rules for every
Yeah.
outcome. One of the things, and this is in no way from experience, because I'm not a parent here, right? But one of the things in raising children you would find if you get to start studying is the uniqueness of each child.
Yes.
So certain children are more expressive, others are more introverted.
Yes.
Every child comes with a gifting, a skill set. And most times their personalities are built around that.
Yes.
I remember Shank Comics coming out, I think this was last year or so. I think I was in an Instagram live or something. I was talking about how, because he started writing on Twitter. That was how he started before the transition to skit making. So he said when he started, his father was so against it. He studied mechanical engineering. And he repeatedly said on that stuff that it was only his mom that believed in him.
In him, yeah.
Fast forward to 2 years ago, his father came to his own property and the father was like, you have tried. Do you get?
Okay.
But one of the problems I have with that P is there's never a conversation of, oh, I'm sorry, I was wrong. Everybody just tries to move on from the fact that you fought this thing. And one question I always ask is, what would have happened if Shank Comics listened to his dad and tried to to go by what he studied? I mean, the chances of him being who he is, where he is right now, is almost, and this happens a lot. Like, it's very common. It's understandably so, but there has to be some type of balance.
Okay. So
Do you
from what you
understand?
said, I'm concerned about something. You said his dad supported him, right? I don't know about Shank's story.
No, his dad didn't
Sorry, his
support.
dad didn't support
Yeah.
him, but his mom was there. So now, what? His mom and dad, they were from the same generation, right? So what's the difference there?
I mean, the responsibilities and roles that our various cultures in Nigeria ascribe to genders are different.
Okay,
Because if you look at it, there's a
yeah.
general P of, oh, as a man, you are a provider. So there were many fathers that anything that passed, dropping money for this, they were not interested. There were many, and most people can confirm this, like, a lot of people's relationships with their dads were not healthy, particularly guys. Fathers, daughters, there tends to be this,
Yes, father,
softness.
daughters,
But even at
mothers,
that, how many daughters can
sons.
really tell their dad, oh, someone is asking me out, or, oh, I want to do. There's usually just a very big gap in understanding. Like parenting, like, I'm thinking of the best way to put it in such a way that this child is allowed to find themselves, but you create an environment where they are protected at the same time. Instead of just trying to restrict, control, and they end up rebelling against you either way.
So our parents were not properly informed on what parenting is all about. You know, nobody taught them that this is what you should do, that is what you should do. And because nobody taught them, they did not have it in mind that kids are like a blank board. You know, they're just bare. So it's whatever they see that they do. And that's what's reflecting. Because this trauma we're talking about, they are not even genetics.
Yeah.
You know, right? They are accumulated fears, emotional problems, blah, 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 blah. So one thing our parents fail to understand is that there is something called character development, you know, and it has to do with your environment, your parents, you know, all these things. If you check it out, you could see some kids are abusive no, let me not use kids. Some adults are abusive because they saw it while growing up. You get it now? They are just blank. So whatever they see, they now feel like, to get something, I need to forcefully, so that's just one of the factors surrounding this whole parenting style.
Yeah, I mean, I do agree, but I think there needs to be more conversations about it,
Yes.
particularly middle class and lower income earners. There are a whole lot of people from teens to mid 30s that have a whole lot of grievances to either one of the
Their parents,
parents
yeah.
or both parents. And it's a thing of, okay, yeah, you were wrong, but at the same time, you can't give what you don't have, or in this context, you can't teach what you don't know. So for many people, there was never a thing of, okay, let's come to finances now. There have been multiple situations, at least while I was growing up, that I was aware of. Your wife is in the labor room. She's in the hospital already trying to give birth. That's when you are running around to look for money. This woman was pregnant for
9 months.
9 months. Now, this now brings it back to the balance I talked about, in the sense that some people just didn't know better.
That they are supposed to save up.
Yes, a lot of people don't have financial. How many people try to start looking for their rent 2-3 months before the rent, as if rent is something that just...
That is
you
true.
know that your rent is due by June. You chill, you are doing whatever, and then from April or what, you put yourself under pressure. Okay, how many children do you really want to have? How many children do you think you can take care of?
Did they have these conversations?
No.
As they come, make it they go.
No. And to be fair, their civilization was more of survival.
Yes.
So you just needed to provide like basics, and she was good. Everything kind of changed on them. So they never really had the opportunity to, and I think that's why I felt like this particular episode was important, because there needs to be a bridge between both generations.
Okay.
In the sense that, yes, certain things were done wrong, and we have to admit that those things that were done wrong are the reasons why this generation acts this way.
The way we do.
We're talking about a topic on Gen Z versus culture rebellion. There's a reason. There's a reason why all of a sudden preachers are being insulted. Like preachers are being attacked. Their generation was a very loyal generation. Even if you are doing something wrong,
Very, very loyal.
People don't just come out, and attack like that. You can imagine, even when we talk about this whole overemphasis on finances in relationship, that's like making relationships more of transactions. I've studied it a bit. I don't think it's the only reason, but a common theme I find, no matter what angle I study from, is still family. So there's something I call the hubris of the middle class, if you are studying finances.
Okay.
Their generation, normally, once you just start having small P, it's okay to marry.
Yeah.
Because she wasn't very expensive. And because the narrative of the man provides financially was there was a whole lot of need to subdue women. I mean, if you check it classically, because of evolution, that generation was still more industrial based. So to make money, get rich, it was industries. And industries has to do with strength. So a lot of women couldn't really thrive financially under that. So they're like, oh, even when your wife wants to work, if you study a whole lot of middle class, particularly then,
no,
they'll be
just
like,
stay
oh,
at home,
don't
take care
worry.
of the kids.
To be fair, the man was earning decently. He was good. But the hubris now comes from the fact that was only one source of income. I was amazed at how many people, I call it former middle class. I don't think we have middle class in Nigeria now anyways. I was amazed at how many people that at some point the mother stayed taking care of the home for years. For some of them, the men got back on their feet at some point, but for a larger majority of others, the men never did. Can you imagine the type of advice that mother will give her daughter?
Yeah.
Can you imagine the resentment that daughter is going to feel towards? So because it is now, you now see that it's now bigger than there is an unhealed trauma. Do you understand?
Yes. And from what you said, with this, sometimes in those families, the men would go to school. Because of when you go to now then
Come on,
yes
patriarchy.
the girls will just be at home. They will marry you now. They will marry you now. They did not just know better. They did not just know better. Many of them were not even taught emotional intelligence.
You can't give what you don't have.
Yes. So what is changing? Why are we different?
You can't. I feel like our generation is fortunate on many levels.
Okay.
I particularly feel like I need to stop using the word feel, but so I've found that a whole lot of things that are termed as excesses for Gen Z is us rebelling against the things that we saw that went wrong that they refuse to accept. Do you understand?
Okay.
For example, what you're talking about, the man and all of that. A woman is more than just someone that gives birth to children and
Yes.
takes care of the home. In our own, like I talked about industrialization in the own generation. Now, our own generation, making money is more about your mind. So there are so many opportunities out there. If you have a very healthy mind, you will make money. And the strength of a woman is actually her mind. So now you have suppressed women for an entire generation, made it seem as if your ideology was absolute. And now a generation has uncovered that as a woman, I can make as much money as
Yes,
you. I
as
can make
you.
more.
Yeah.
So I was watching Zikoko magazine, one of their where I was a podcast or an interview. And they do this thing where they read out, messages that people send,
Yes.
that kind of people. And a guy was talking of how, I think he's married 4 or 5 years. When he got married to his wife didn't have a job. They got married, obviously she got a job. And now the wife is earning 3-4 times more
More
than
than him.
And he's saying like he feels like a slave. He was just, complaining about different type of emotions. And from what he was saying, the wife has not even done anything to him.
Yeah.
But you see how the identity, because
Yes.
you're not asking yourself, if you've been taught all your life that what makes you a man is a provider.
Yes, you must provide.
You are earning maybe 500,000 naira or 750. People are considering as decent. Then your wife is earning 5K dollars a month. You're not seeing her back. And that's why you hear a lot of like this whole japa, this last set. They tend
That
to
when
have
they get
issues.
there, they tend to have issues with their partners.
So how do we say that a principle or theory is valid when it's only applicable in a context? So once you leave Nigeria, the whole provider. So I feel there are a whole lot of lapses, gaps, and like I said, we need to create the balance in the sense that they didn't know better.
Yeah, they didn't know
They really
better.
thought like, they were trying to, that was what they knew how to do best. But another thing, but the other part is we trivialize the pain of the children who are the victims in this case too much. We move on too fast. You couldn't have fought a boy from doing what he wanted to do. Eventually, he does it without you, and there should be no conversation about it or, minimize the feelings of the boy. Because my own fear now is the amount of unhealed trauma that exists in Gen Zs that people are seeing as character flaws or whatnot. It's a set that is married now and giving birth to children. If you don't heal from the pain, you always pass it down. So your own passing it down now may not be how their own happened, but you're still going to pass some type of pain down.
Yeah, and talking about trauma, I feel like most times we are overusing this word trauma. Everybody is traumatized. Everybody, I'm traumatized. This thing happened. Yes, that's why I'm like this now. I'm just the way I am. So I feel most times we too, I'm coming to us, the new generation, we are not taking accountability. You know that there are several ways to solve a problem. When you know that this is the cause of my problem, now we know is our parents.
Many people don't.
They do not know.
Many people don't. Like, you'll be amazed at how much low emotional intelligence people have.
Why?
I don't know. Maybe it's because people don't get to sit down alone and spend a lot of time introspecting. I really don't know. But sometimes you see people acting up, sit down with them. They will never be able on their own to trace it back to what happened.
But
Who taught you that it's okay to hit a woman for correction? Do you understand?
Yeah, I get your point.
That's a dysfunction in somebody. Okay, Apostle Joshua Selman of Koinonia was teaching one day, and he was talking about a counseling case that was brought to him way back when he was in Zaria. And in this case, the lady wanted to do stuff, and the husband would not let her. Okay, even if you don't want me to get a job and work under somebody, let me start a business. She was a very industrial. She wanted to do something.
Yeah.
And the husband was not going to let her. He stood his ground. They had talked to everybody they could talk to. So AJS said upon speaking, he told the lady, speaking more intensely with the guy said his father told him that the only way to control, that if a woman has more money than you, you will lose control. So the only way to control and make sure that you have a good marriage. So control was not necessarily the word, but if you look at it, that's what they are saying. That the only way for you to have a good marriage is for your wife to be below you.
And he has friends.
The question is he going to tell them what his father told him?
No. You know now, just like we're gisting, we could start talking about a lot of things.
Yeah.
Right now, we are exposed. The internet is there. We have conversations with people. We have people at our workplaces. So sometimes you have conversations with them, then it could change your mindset towards something. Now, this guy that you talked about, he feels like for him to be in charge, for him to be the man of the house, he must, be the one bringing the resources and all those things. The way he treats his wife at home, that is how he might be treating his co-workers or people working for him as well, So I feel like we should get to a point where we sit down and think, this thing is not normal. Okay, let me use myself as an example. There's some behavior that I would see it and I would be like, no, Fortune, you shout too much. Or this thing, where is it coming from? Then when you trace, you would always ask, where is it coming from? I don't like it.
It's not common.
It's not common. Common sense is not common.
This year I said it's not common sense. We're talking about wounds. These are emotional wounds.
Yes,
right?
And it's reflecting in your day-to-day life.
Okay.
You're a bad boss. Obviously, you're a bad boss, so you're going to be bad at home to your kids, your siblings, everybody. And they might be complaining.
It may not always be like that. Remember the
It may not always be like that.
Remember the man, he said his dad told him, your wife.
But indirectly.
This is
in one way or
trying
the
to
other,
generalize now.
In one way or the other, he would be, those his flaws would be so obvious at his workplace.
You're using plural. This is
single
mindset flaw.
Do you know that these traumas, it affects the way we relate to everybody, not just one person? Yeah. That man feels like women are beneath him.
His wife.
Not just his wife. No.
His wife.
So for someone to think that way, he feels women are beneath him.
Oh,
check out men that beat their wives. Yeah. They could slap their workers.
But have you also heard of repeated scenarios of men that were abusive in their homes and the general public says, oh, how he's such an extremely nice person. He could never hurt a fly. See.
I feel in one way or the other it's going to show. In one way or it mustn't be physical, do you know? Yeah. It might be the way he speaks to women. We're using this man as an example. It can be the way he speaks to women, the way he acts towards them. Maybe they want to promote someone to a very notable position in the office. Be like, no, the woman should not. Okay. In one way or the other.
What about we're saying about so ladies that grew up in middle-class families saw their mother take charge of finances. Some of them, because of the whole identity piece, the man never recovered from, the fact that he wasn't able to provide. Because the problem usually is, it's okay to have a rough patch, but don't let your wife perpetually take care of shit, because it's going to affect her and the children. But the problem is sometimes, right, a decent amount of times, the men fall into this identity crisis.
And that is because of society expectation. And I think even the culture has a lot to do with
Definitely.
this. Because they've made it in a way that men should be the provider. So when things like this happen, the man will always, no, my wife shouldn't do this.
And Gen Z will run and go and quote that scripture that says, "He that cannot provide for his household is not worth."
But you know,
That's
even,
not what the Bible is saying. The
even
Bible was
Gen
not talking
Zs
about
too, Gen
husband.
Zs, they don't even want a man
Very
that
funny.
cannot provide.
People, they will not see the part of do not fornicate, do not be drunk, where you will just go and take a scripture out of context and build. Because, like I always say, for you to prove that a principle and theory is good and effective, look at the outcome, the people that practice it over a period of time.
Yeah.
That's something that we don't really do a lot of in this part of the world. Because like I was saying, a girl that saw her mom go through that, she watched that for 20-something years, 30 years, you think is a common introspection that is now going to make her trust a man or be in a situation where she wants to support a man. Now, don't get it twisted. Nobody's endorsing or nobody's saying a woman has to be the provider. I'm not even advocating necessarily for what is called, I think the whole 50-50 argument is a fallacy, by the way. Do you understand? But I'm saying, for someone that has seen that, do you know how hard it will be for that person to forgive their dad first and then come out of that pit? Because
he couldn't provide when things were rough.
yes. And then he laid back. There are a lot of steady.
Okay, if he laid back and the woman was, suffering, trying to do her best, if he was laid back, that is where the problem is. But I feel like this also has to do with limited emotional expressions. Your daddy is down. I feel if this parent had conversation, if we're using this your story, daddy don't have money now, mommy is providing. Are the children even supposed to know?
My children know a lot though.
Are they supposed to know?
There are things that I knew that nobody had an idea that children know a lot. Eventually it's known.
Okay, eventually it's known. Then the parents should teach their kids that this thing happens in life. One might be rich today and tomorrow there's nothing there. Talk to them. But our parents feel like these are conversations they shouldn't have with kids.
I think the real question is, did the women, most of the women in that situation, did they really accept it? Because remember I was saying earlier about, from what you're saying now, it's not bad to pull your weight around. Not like we're talking about the assumption of the guy that's maybe any 500, 700K and his wife that's any $5,000. Now, a question. If you have a child now, and obviously understanding parenting, leveraging, you need to put your child in certain environments. It will make it easier for the child to attain certain heights. And the school fees that the man can afford is 250,000 per month. Let's say 200,000 per month. You as the wife, you're earning $5,000. Do you understand? Will you not say, oh, because the man has to be the one to bring it, you now send your child to a school that doesn't really give that child leverage in society?
On the norms. On the norms. That's my child now. I should support.
But that's not
yes,
what
because of how they were brought up as well. Do you know?
I've had this conversation. I've had this conversation with Dr. Kamsi, and we're talking about her cousin, her dad. It was a situation. This one was a rent issue. The lady wanted to stay in Maitama. Pooled income. Do you understand? That's household income. And this is not even about the lady bringing all her money. But what the guy said he could afford, what she could afford, they could actually live in Maitama conveniently. But the problem was the elderly people that were aware of the situation were insisting that he's the man. They should stay where he can afford. Everybody that does any form of business, what really gives value to what you do, particularly when you are not playing a large number of products, like little price products in large volumes. If you are playing from middle level to high level, it is the type of clients that you have that give value to your business and how much profitable you can be. So if you can afford, with all due respect to everybody that stays in Maraba, let's say it's Maraba that the man can afford. But if you pool your resources, you could get a place in Apple, Gudu, Gariki, Wuye, and all of that. How does it now make any sense that, because it's the man? And like I said about the principle of cause and effect, since we have been teaching this provider identity for men. The only people that seem to get away with it are the men that remain rich all their lives. So how does a principle benefit only a set of, like, it's important to understand that we're not, because I say this conversation, they drift away from trauma to
That's
this
what I
solution.
wanted to say.
Do you understand? But that thing really messed a whole lot of people up. That site. I was talking with someone during Easter, and she was talking with a guy, was considering the guy and all of that. And she said that the only reason she can't is that the guy said he feels like it should be a double income household. That it should be a pool that, no, because of what I'm not making this up on God, like because of what she saw growing up, she can't do that. And I told her, don't let the trauma of, this was in April, and we had picked this topic at the time. Don't let the trauma of what you saw affect your own decisions or make you miss out on a good man because of that.
Yeah. So from our topic, which says the Nigerian parenting pipeline, you know, and intergenerational traumas and its impact on us, I was thinking we were going to talk about, you know, the impact of all these traumas on us right now, because one of them would be lack of confidence. You know, there's some kids that can't really, self-esteem issues. Some people would say man issues for the ladies. Daddy issues, you know, attachment styles. So I was thinking we should, you know, dig deep into that. And yes, we've already made excuses for our parents that they did know better then. They weren't, you know, given proper guidelines on how to be a parent. Yes. So now, you know that then, I want us to also talk about the strict cultural expectations. They were not nice. You know, talking about the man must be a provider. Because of you're the boy, you must go to school. All these things are making some women, just that we're now woke, they're making some women, they can't even take up positions. You get my point, right? They can't take up positions because if they saw it at home, that it's the men that were there. So them, if they do it, it's going to feel strange. It's going to feel new. So I'm saying we should really talk about the impact. Yeah, so what impacts you have in mind?
It really is like there are so many layers to it. No matter the first things you mentioned was, I'm paraphrasing now, self-esteem.
Yes.
A child's first place of identifying and defining love is the family. It's a very common statement, but I don't think people realize how deep it is.
They don't.
Like maybe it was like, I was in 2017, 2018, thereabouts. That was when I started noticing something I tend to call broken people and dysfunction, right? And it started from seeing young ladies that were obsessed with wanting to be loved. Like they'll follow anybody, they will endure any situation. I just hope nobody really watches this, but like there are situations of people that they can never be single.
Yes.
You can imagine someone being exposed to dating and relationships at 13, 14. Particularly in the African context. Yes, I guess, all of us were dating earlier and all, but the way a lady's life is usually more guarded and structured than a guy, because, they'll be like, you know, you get pregnant, you know, guys can get away with stuff you get. And I remember there was someone, and this happened multiple times after, because this was what started making me to want to study on family. There was one of the first people I met, her dad was doing extremely well in the government of the state at the time, I don't want to mention. And he never sends his daughter money. He pays the fees, pays her rent, but doesn't speak to her. Like, not that he's beefing her. And if she does call that, maybe I need something, he may be sending something like 5-7K. Do you understand? And to
That
him,
wasn't really enough.
go where? I mean, even for people that were in school 2014, 15, 16, nobody, I don't think anybody that was getting 5,000 as pocket money, obviously your parents were really going through a lot. The irony of it was the fact that the man was a multi-millionaire at the time, had multiple structures in the state that I'm talking about. Was building multiple structures at the time, but wouldn't take. Okay, let's even, so that it doesn't seem like, oh, we're focusing on the finance part again. Presence. Having some type of relationship with your daughter, like conversations. And it was the same thing with a whole lot of guys. But I think with guys only, it was a little easier because we just accepted that that was what it was. There was no necessarily any resentment attached. Like, in my own situation, I can speak for a lot of people that were in my friend circle at the time. My dad calls you when you take off from Abuja to Enugu. Have you taken off? Yes. He'll call you in the evening. Are you there? Have you settled in? Yes. The next time he'll call you is when my mom tells him that, oh, you're about to start writing the exam.
Yeah.
Then he will now call you. So the question, so I think for me, when I now finished school, came back to Abuja, was trying to get my internship. I was at home for a whole year before I got it. It was very strange to see my dad come into my room, sit down, and will be trying to gist to me. It was awkward.
But did he do that?
He did it.
Oh, wow.
But I felt it was kind of late. Because I remember I had this conversation with my friends when we were in final year, and everybody almost had the same. But I think with guys, we just accepted it because, I mean, sometimes it's even so awkward that he'll just sit by the edge of your bed. He may start with the POP, we need to change this. You already know that, this man is trying to, get a call. But something you never, but on the other hand, this is now that I'm not close with my mom, I was always very close
to
with
your
my
mom. So with what you said, did your daddy's lifestyle then, did it affect you in any way?
Towards him, yes. And what I thought being a father was at the time, yes.
It affected you?
Yes.
In what?
It affected how I saw fatherhood.
Okay, how you saw fatherhood.
Yeah. And then towards him, I mean, I wouldn't have maybe be going through a problem that is not financial, that does not need problem. Like situations of maybe just wanting to rant. I'm having a hard time in school. I can't call my dad and have that kind of conversation.
But you could call your guys.
I mean, my friends were, funny enough, friendship was largely what I had. Because at some point, because of how emotional my mom was, I couldn't have certain conversations with my mom anymore. Because she would just start worrying, and all of that. Which is why I said, the way they designed that structure was, man bring the money, mother is close to the children. But both genders have this energy that is needed to produce a child with healthy self-esteem. Like most times when you see a girl that is just so obsessed with attention or wanting male validation, most of the time you can almost consistently always trace it back to like where she's coming from.
Yes. So I was having a conversation with my friend, and he said that from age 3, that children start feeling emotions. And that is, that's what he said. Yes, at age 3. I learned it that day. I didn't know about it before. That children start feeling emotions, and that is when, as a parent, you should be close to your kids. That's their formative stage. You get it? Most ladies that have daddy issues, I'm not attacking anybody. It's like I've been talking about ladies, please, I'm sorry. Well, maybe at that point, not even maybe, at that point, their daddies weren't there. So they were very close to their mom. They didn't feel that fatherly love. Did my daddy did we walk around the neighborhood? Did I walk around the neighborhood with my daddy?
Oh,
no.
Please, that's you. You are going too far. You are going too far.
Did you? No. But most times it was always our mom. You get always our mom. She always take her. And the mom itself, they've tried their best because they were doing more than our fathers. It still brings us back
emotionally.
Emotionally. Most of them did very well financially as well. They tried. They're selling pepper, selling this one, selling that one.
Okay,
they tried. They tried. They didn't know better. They were taught that women should sit at home. So for them to go out of their ways because they have kids, that's something we should, So still talking about parenting, how do you see the way our parents disciplined us when we were growing up? Was it really discipline or abuse?
How? That's a very
Because this thing contributes to the traumas we have now, in one way or the other.
I think it's different for both genders, because for myself and most other people that I've spoken with, nobody holds any serious, like nobody holds on. You can barely even remember when you were being disciplined by your dad. My mom never, I can't remember, my dad did the physical
Abuse.
Yeah, the physical discipline. I don't call it
Abuse.
physical. My dad did the physical discipline peer and all of that, but Momsy was more of conversations.
Wow.
And because there was, no, I really love my mom. So there'll be things that I would feel bad about and want to not do anymore because of my mom.
Your mom.
Do you understand? And I feel like it's different for both genders, honestly, because probably some of the things that they try to use force on conversations could have been had depending on the stage that the child was in. Because the truth of the matter is, I can't think of anything that force made me change on.
True.
Because at some point, you now get used to it. You do it expecting the consequences. Like, okay, this is the highest thing that
They
you are
will
going
do.
to,
Yes.
you are going to do. So,
They weren't calculative in their correct punishments. When you're trying to punish someone, I think you should be calculative. Oh, maybe I'm coming from the kitchen and I want to see my favorite TV show. Then I mistakenly break a glass. Our parents will just, why did you do that?
But a lot of those things were internal frustrations. It's usually not really about what happened. People came for Bovi.
Internal frustration.
Yes. People came for Bovi. This was on the Honest Bunch podcast when he was talking about how his smallest boy had broken 3 televisions. And that he never, according to what I can remember, he never scolds or shouted on the boy. And people came for him, that he just repeated that he's spoiling the child. Because I remember him saying in that episode, because Nedu Wazobia was actually shocked. I was like, picking breaks, 50 or 60 inch TV, beat him. And he made a statement that I never forgot. He said, thank God that there was money to easily replace it. So the question is, was it really about punishing the child so that the offense is not repeated? Or you were really angry, pained, and frustrated about what happened, what it would cost you? And you were just, because there are some beatings that were ridiculous.
Yeah, true.
Do you understand? Like, it's there, and sometimes
and you don't want to say it's an abuse.
Spare the
rod and spoil the child.
How come that's only ever in Africa or Nigeria?
The rod mustn't be cane. The rod mustn't be a knock. I
feel like emotional punishment is worse.
Emotional punishment, calculative punishment. What would I do to this child that next time, if they remember, they would not do what they did? That would be better. Next time you will be like, when I did this the other time, mommy took my phone and I missed out on something I was supposed to do. So today I'm going to be a good boy.
That's what they really work on Nigerian children, to be fair, Sha.
I didn't get that.
I said this one that I said, I'm not saying it will really work like that.
It should now. We are humans. We are humans.
But I think baseline is more about, and I'm trying to be careful to not make this conversation about trying to teach parents how to parent when you are not a parent.
But not like trying to teach parents how to parent when you're not a parent. There are lots of materials out there that they could learn from. They could actually learn from these as well.
Yeah.
So if they are open-minded, they would learn one or two.
Yeah.
We're not teaching them. We're just discussing, trying to let them know that this thing you did is actually affecting us.
Because in what you're saying about correction, we now go back to the child's personality is also important. There's a man called Joseph Prince. He was talking of, he's very close to his first daughter.
Okay.
So his daughter had done something wrong. and he was trying to I think that would be the second time she would be doing it. And he didn't speak. Like how they used to talk and play. If she needed something, he'll answer her. But he wasn't doing that anymore. I think he did that for about 2-3 days. I'm not a fan of malice. But in that context, that worked. Because the daughter came back and was like, I'd rather you flog me than you not talk to me. Because the end of correction is, this is wrong. This is, even when we talk about conversations, most time when people tell you, oh, don't do this, there's never really a conversation as to why this is not good in a way that you understand. Because I mean, if you're an adult and you're here, and because the way we keep saying children, I mean, even for teenage to parents relationship and people in their 20s to parent relationship, the dynamic keeps changing. Because earlier we were talking about parents not allowing children to pursue their dreams. That's right for people in their late teens to
Their
20s.
dreams that they think is not good for them. Our parents think that they know all, you know, because if it were then, your mother or father won't allow you to be talking here. You feel like, why are you talking? Not talking will bring you food.
My mom didn't want. I did when I told my mom that I'm not sure I was going to practice what I studied
Yeah.
professionally. Our relationship wasn't the same for over a year because she just couldn't understand it. Imagine someone like Davido gave now. I don't think his father was wrong. We're still saying the same thing because his father is very wealthy. His father had a plan and system mapped out for him. But ask yourself the question: what if he did what all his siblings do? All respect to everybody that is his siblings, by the way. The Adeleke name is as popular as it is today because he pursued his dreams. And one thing I've noticed about some of these stories is they pursued those things in times when it wasn't common. There also is a thing of internal vision. Nobody has really done this thing before. And I don't think that's going to ever stop. Because there's just the notion of you have to control. Now we are in a freelancing time, you know, different remote jobs. It's now more about skill as compared to jobs, at least averagely. What is the next 5-10 years going to be like? If you now adjust your parenting system to be like, oh, you know, it has to be like that. What if things are totally different in the next 10 years?
So I feel like then we weren't really seen and heard. For the Adeleke's family, as you've brought it up, the dad groomed Davido when he was little. He knew that this guy wants to sing. He knew that this guy would be a musician. Do you get it? And he built on that. Our parents don't even know what we're supposed to be. Me, I don't think my daddy knew that today, maybe I'm going to be working where I'm working. He just felt like, go to school. When you're done with school, that is it. You know, I feel when parenting, I'm not trying to teach them how to parent. I just feel like they should listen to their kids, pay close attention to them, and that is what they did not do. Most kids, they know how to draw, but maybe their parents weren't attentive enough, you know, to build on that skill of theirs. If you notice, most of the people that are successful in their careers right now, especially the creative aspect, most of them either rebelled, you know, they told them, do this, they said, no, I'm not going to do it. Or their parents supported them because they groomed them from when they were little. That's how I see these things. And again, the internet is there. If our parents were really open-minded, these things wouldn't have been a serious issue because they have conversations with people. They see how other things are happening. You could ask, what's happening here? How did you get this? And you learn from it. Do you get my point?
I don't think there's a formula at the end of the day. Do you understand? Because what you're saying about listening to, there are some, I don't want to keep using the word children, but like there are some people on the other end that, imagine, there are some people now that want to be musicians because of a Davido or a Wizkid. It's not coming from here.
So you check, when you see a child, you know what they are good at a certain stage. Listen to them. That's why you're a parent. You're there to guide them. Do you get my point? You're there to guide them. If your child wants to be a musician because of the video, that is different. You would know. He's not serious with it now. You see kids singing. That's how they check these things, right? You see them singing, you see them dancing. So you can build on it. They could start first as a hobby. Then when they grow up and they want to turn it to a career, that is fine. So I just feel like we weren't really seen and heard. We weren't really seen and heard. They did not pay close attention to us. That's my take on it.
Well, to wrap up and approach the end of this, I think it's very important that first of all, if you are struggling with trauma that was based on how you grew up and you have resentment, I think one concept that is rarely spoken about is the fact that your parents didn't know as much as you were made to believe they knew.
Yeah.
And your parents are not invisible. I know, particularly here, like, we're made to see fathers as problem solvers. Your dad, anything that happens, run to your dad. And at some point, I think my late teens, early 20s, I grew to a point where I had a lot of resentment towards my dad, personally. But I never voiced it. As one of the reasons why I tend to always want to do things on my own. The reasons I had for being resentful, I mean, I understand it better now, from where I'm standing. But I just felt like, my dad could have done better. My dad could have done better. My dad could have done better. So something happened last year. I went for one of my friends lost his sister, so went to see him. A couple of us friends, hung out till late in the night. I got back home, settled in maybe like almost midnight, and by like past midnight, my mom comes into the room. I was like, "Did you hear the gunshots? Like, people are shooting in the estate. I've never experienced a robbery before." I just slept, so I was still trying to. So my dad runs in. "Where's your laptop? Where's your phone?" He takes it. He's going to, hide it. He has hidden everybody's own. And then I was just being logical, and I was like, if these people enter here, how do you want to explain to them that there are 3 people in this house? Nobody has phone. Nobody has laptop. Do you understand? Because already I was thinking, how do we get out of the house? Do we drive out? I was trying to think of a solution. And at some point in between, I just stopped and I looked at my dad. He was in the waiting room by the window looking out with a cutlass in his hand. And it dawned on me that he was really afraid. Like, he didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
And for the first time in my life, I realized my father is a human being.
Like you.
He's a man too. It's amazing how long it took me to, and that changed the whole dynamic of our relationship. Like, it's not perfect. No, none of that. Now we have like a really great relation among the two of us. Not necessarily because a lot of things changed, but I just know now that he did the best he could with what he
at
had.
that
He didn't
time,
have
yeah.
a good relationship with his dad. He trained himself.
Yeah.
So where was he going to learn emotional intelligence, emotional sensitivity? He couldn't have given what he has. So it's now left to me, because getting ready to start my own family and all of that, what type of father do I want to be? And not guesswork. Okay, this is what I want. This is what it takes to get what I want. I need to have finances in check. I need to be a good husband. I need to be around more. Intentionally learning so that I reparent myself. I unlearn the dysfunctionalities that I saw and I make that change. So in conclusion, I think it's really important that give your parents grace, whether you like it or not, it's only turn by turn. Parents are going, parents are dying. Dads, moms, my friend circle growing up, like in Jukwe, Abuja here, the 4 of us, I'm the only one whose dad is still alive. And when the last person's dad died this January, it just dawned on me that, bruh, this thing can be delayed, but it go touch everybody.
Sure.
So if you're in your 20s, you're just starting your career, you're in your 30s, whatever, for whatever time they have left, your relationship with your parents will really change when you understand that they are and they were human beings. So we're coming to the close of our first episode. I really hope you enjoyed this one. Once again, my name is Ali Gideon.
And I'm Fortune. I have a closing remark.
Yeah.
Talking about trauma, I feel like before you solve a problem, awareness is the first step. Sit, think, why am I the way I am? Why do I react to things the way I do? Then you can trace it before you start looking for solution. I feel everybody should get to the point where they self-reflect, introspect. There are things you do. We're all humans. There's some character you exhibit that you know it is not nice, it is not good, it is not normal. So we should get to that point where we sit, ask ourselves questions, go back to the roots and try to heal. We should always take accountability because that is how I am, that is not how you are. Take accountability
Heal
to
from your
change the
trauma.
way you are, to be a better person. Yes, so that is all I have to say. My name is Fortune.
And I'm Ali Gideon.
Yes, don't forget to like, share, comment, repost, and expect our next episode. Bye for now.